Hey, it's Mark. So I'm gonna do a video on what I'm seeing today in the market. I'm not gonna go through my watch list or give some picks for next week or anything other than the ones I've already talked about. But I just want to kind of go through what's happened today and what I'm seeing today in some of these sectors. So it's not gonna be like an all-encompassing video on some picks that I see in my scans or anything. So what I saw today was, of course, we've got the Bitcoin and crypto miners really down a lot today. So I kind of noticed that later in the day, and I put on some puts, some some puts in some of these like BITF. Put in some February puts and CIFR January puts, like $3 strike, and the CIFR. Well, pretty much all these have kind of followed Bitcoin a lot, obviously recently. So what I saw today with Bitcoin, and especially this ETF here, is the sell volume was really intense up there at the top. So that points toward the likelihood of a short-term top or maybe even a longer-term top being put in. That there's so much sell volume up there, and today was sort of a continuation follow through from yesterday, and this uptrend supports really at risk here after today, and I really think it's going to blow through that uptrend support. I mean, Bitcoin does some weird stuff, like it doesn't always follow technicals that well, like, but just the amount of sell volume that we've had, um, especially in these miners today too, is pretty seems pretty telling for a top being in, even if it's just short term top. So pretty much all the major volume miners today were down too, and some of these are actually kind of the the momentum uptrends already been broken. Like the any broke yesterday through that uptrend support, so that was my level on any, and it broke through that, and it's really red today. Like the options didn't look all that good, like for what you can get. Like some of the other some of the other options look pretty good for like CIFR. Like all these have pretty much similar charts, and CIFR really broke down again today, and it did the same thing. It's breaking below that uptrend support, and this one we've got we've got a history of a spike and then a sell off back to support levels. So back here, it had a lot of support around like 250, and then it went up to 4, and then once it broke the uptrend momentum, which is actually was actually right there on that day, it broke through that uptrend line. It went all the way back down to that support level, and the big support was about 240, and it went all the way back down to 240 after that sell off. So we've got the same thing pretty much happened here, where it went up, of course, a lot more, and then broke down, and then it just went through that uptrend support, kind of like the last time. And I really think it's going to come down back down to a support level, just because it's shown it can do that. So I think the best support level that I could find, conservatively, is like around 270 to 280. So about 280 or so. So that's why I put on the $3 puts, because even though they are this month, I think, I mean, if you want to be more conservative, I think buying the February $3 strike would be good too. But a lot of time, like the unwind can be pretty strong, especially in this one, like because this one's heavily shorted, so the shorts are going to just really pile in. Is my thinking. So it's just got to go below 3, and I think it's going to hit like 280, 270 in the next month or so. So uh, that's a good one too on the short side. And Wolf's kind of the same. It's since it's heavily shorted too, I think this one's got a good chance to come down to support level, maybe even $1. Um, but I just opted for the other ones, and they all pretty much have the same chart. And the BITF is so that one's kind of more of a speculative like play that it's going to come down significantly, and like this was like a really good top, on Bitcoin. And it looks like it did actually. This these levels here were pretty big, so it's basically like a rounding top where it it cracked through a lot of support levels today, going back into early December. So, and the way it had that candle there, this really could unwind pretty quickly, I think, down to the ones. And this one was up considerably too. Like the other reason I think it's got more downside is, it went from $1 to 350, in like a month or so. So it if there is a big sell-off, which looks like it's happening here, this one should come down a lot because it was pretty elevated there. And I thought about rolling my snap puts today, but they pretty much lost all the like I didn't have a stop, so those are a loss. So, but I still think it does have a good chance to hit the 1550 in the next month, but there's also a chance, it gets choppy. So I just thought there was better setups out there, especially with these on the short side with these miners. And the next thing we'll look at is that some of these shippers like TK. Well, the TK is actually the best looking one right now, at least on my watch list. It broke out to a multi-year high today. And the shot's been really good too. It's still coming down off after it cracked that support level. So we got puts on this one too. So it couldn't be going any better really on this one, the way it's coming down really pretty fast here. And the QS, like I thought that was going to be a bull flag, but the way it had that drop today, it looks like it's less likely to be. Like I don't really see that anymore, because usually the bull flags are pretty slow and steady on the sell-off there. And the hood came down to that next level because it broke that uptrend momentum, and then had a big level there it failed at. And then it looks like if it holds below this level, the next possibility is, we get like down to $8 a share. So those are some of the things I'm looking at. And the CRNT was a good one, but looks like that one's actually selling off today. It had a nice run after that gap up. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty tough out there for a lot of longs. But there are some spots like I noticed today the uranium stocks were incredibly strong. And I talked about the NXE in another video, because I've just been following this one for a long time, and it held above that level, the past few weeks here, and it held trend support and just gapped up on high volume like the rest of them. So the NXE had that uptrend level there, and it reclaimed on that breakout. So this one looks pretty good too. That's a major level. It's actually that's a multi-year high on NXT, and the reason I've noticed these was I still have some Uroi shares. I have some Uroi shares still, and because I bought it back on that breakout there, and it's breaking out over a major level today too. It's not quite as technically strong as the other ones yet, but it's threatening to be a major breakout too. And the URG is kind of the same. It's not really a super breakout yet, but it's going. And DNN was really strong today. DNN can run too. That one, I've seen that one run a lot in the past. I mean, of course, 2020, 21, it was huge, but even years back, it was a good runner. Yeah, like 2010, it's a big runner. So that one's a good runner too, and I wouldn't be surprised if this one, hits 250 or so. And this one, I guess it's OTC. It's an OTC, and I can't even trade it on my trade station. Like, it's not tradable, but it probably is on like some of those other brokers. Like, what's the other one? Yeah, I can't think of the other. There's one broker that they do like early morning trading too. Like, they open up with like the 4 a.m. or whatever. When the market opens, like the pre-market. Yeah, Webull. Yeah, it might be on Webull, but who knows? It's kind of too bad because it's got a nice chart too. It's a breakout. It's breaking out over 2022 highs, and it moves with the sector. So, and the CCJ was a strong one too. Really strong today, CCJ. But that's just my watch list. Like, there's lots of other uraniums, obviously, but I just always like the way these trade with the sector or with the industry. Yeah, DNN's a good breakout. I mean, that one's probably got legs too. I mean, I always prefer the stocks that have a good history of running. 'Cause a lot of times, whatever happens in the past happens in the future too with stocks. Yeah, the AMC, I was really debating putting on some puts on this one the other day, and the shorts are just totally in control in this one now. I mean, this looks like just controlled short selling. The way it goes down, day after day is probably a lot of shorts going in there. And the last thing I'll talk about is the index futures with Russell. So I was able to trade in the afternoon today, and I started watching it like around noon, and it came up on support like around, it had some support going back like around there, and once it cracked below this level there, because on IWM you can usually just draw trend lines, and it trades pretty well off of those. And this uptrend broke back in the afternoon, and then I caught some of that, and I had some couple of good trades on a breakdown because it was pretty intense there for like an hour or so. Like, even though it doesn't look like it's not a big percentage move, the index futures, the Russell micros were pretty volatile there, like on these candles, these red candles. So I caught a lot of that, and then I gave it back. I had some losses, because I have automatic stop losses set. So I got a bad fill on a stop, but I over traded it. Like I should have just quit after I caught some of that down move, but it didn't help that I didn't get a good fill on one of those stop losses. But yeah, I kind of gave it all back there. But that's how I trade the Russell. It's really good on with trend lines. I mean, these past couple weeks have been like pretty hard to trade it because it's just so choppy. But a lot of times it respects channels. And one of the better ones is actually one of the best setups I found is I'm not sure if there's one here, but it's like it's where it goes down or has a channel and then like a down channel and it breaks out. It almost did it here. So let's say that was like a down channel there, and then well actually I think it probably did do it. Let's get rid of that one. So yeah, it did the setup there on that one. So it's when there's a downtrend, like a down channel, and then price goes up and breaks through the down channel line and breaks out, and then it more often than not comes back down and it retests that old resistance and it becomes support and it holds that at that line. Sometimes it's a little before it too, but like it'd be a little higher, like it would have done it back here, but then it goes back up and that's like the bottom for a while. But the way I've traded it in the past is you just buy around the dip off of that breakout, and then you just ride it till it gets back up to that level there. Because you can't expect it to just keep going and going. It's not always going to do that, but it's good for a few minute hold, couple minutes. But yeah, it's funny how I just found that because I guess it does it a lot. It used to do it a lot. If you're patient, it this setup plays out a lot. I guess it's the algos and the program trades. It still works. Like it happens. I guess it's the nature of that. But anything else is kind of like a lot of times there's more failed signals, like failed breakouts than actual breakouts. Like here it failed. It's supposed to be a breakout, but it failed. And so I kind of look for traps usually. Like if you're trying to actually make some longer trades for like the day, like you're better off just trying to get a trap, like buying here when it starts to break down below that level there. Because they will pretend like it's going to break down and then send it back up. Like you pretty much expect the opposite of what the retail traders are doing. So like here it looked like it was breaking out. It broke over that level back there, and then they just sent it back down. And I see that happens so many times, even last year and the year before, there's usually like a run up or a direction in the first 15, 20 minutes, and then the opposite happens. It just comes back the opposite way. So they trick you at the beginning of the day, and it just changes direction after the first 15, 20 minutes. Well, here it was like 30 minutes, it was up, and then So people think it's gonna be like an up day, and then bam, they reverse it down. So yeah, that's enough on that. So that's what I was looking at today and some of the trades I made. I think that was about all my trades today, and I'll catch you in the next video.